Hey everybody, I hope you had a great day. I just wanted to make another video for you guys to go over the tiered practice worksheet that you should have done yesterday on Tuesday. If not, please don't watch the video until after you've attempted it and submitted it. Those of you who did it, let's go over it to make sure that you understand it and you got it correct. So question number 1 wanted us to find the area of the shaded figure. And we needed to draw first the two shapes individually. So clearly I can see that I have a triangle and a rectangle. Triangle is not the greatest, but that's okay. So the rectangle had a base of 15 and a height of 9. And because opposite sides are equal of rectangles, the base of the triangle will also be 15. And the height will be 6. So there we go. I've labeled all my measures. Now I need to find the area. So to find the area of a triangle, I'm going to start by doing 1/2 times the base times the height. So 1/2 times 15 times 6. Now, for me, 15 isn't an even number to split in half, so I'm going to do 1/2 times 6, which would give me 3. And then I'm going to multiply that to 15, and that's going to give me an area of 45 centimeters squared. Now I'm going to find the area of the rectangle. The area of a rectangle is simply just base times height. So I'm going to do 15 times 9. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. So the area of the rectangle is going to be 135 centimeters squared. Now to find the area of the whole thing, I'm going to take 135 and 45 and add them together. So my total area is 180 centimeters squared. All right, next we have to do the same thing here. We have to break it up. So there's a couple ways that you could have broken this shape up, and the way I am going to do it is I am going to take this side and break it down like this. So I don't have enough room to draw them separately, so now I would have, a rectangle that looks like this and then a square. So I'm going to find the area of each figure. So I would first do 6 times 3, because that's the dimensions of the long skinny rectangle. So that would have given me 18 meters squared. And then the last piece ended up being a square of 4 by 4. So the area of the square would be 4 times 4, which is 16 meters squared. So to find the area of the whole thing, I would just take 18, add it to 16, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, which would give me a grand total of 34 meters squared. Now, you obviously could have also done it this way. Now, if you did it this way, it becomes just a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to erase what I did in green, and I'm going to go through it with how you could have also done it with the orange. So if we did it correctly, we should get the exact same answers doing both ways. Doing it the second way just, means we have to do a little bit more work, and that's okay. So I have now broken it up into 2 rectangles. One is the small one that's 3 by 2, and the second one is the big one. Now, we have the height of 4, but I would have to figure out the length. Now, when I cut this, I know I had part of it, which was 4, but I needed to find this piece. Well, I know that this skinny rectangle touches down there, so if this piece is 3, this piece would also have to be 3, making that last section that we had 3. So the total length would then be 7. So 3 times 2 for the area of the small one would have given me 6. And then the area of the big one would have been 7. Whoopsie. Would have been 7 times 4. So 7 times 4 is 28. Now I'm going to add 28 and 6. Now if we got it right, we should get the same thing as last time. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 8. I can't add. 9, 10. Okay, there we go. Having a blonde moment here, y'all. So, area would then also equal 34 meters squared. So, you see that there are multiple ways to cut these shapes, but in the end, if we did it all correctly, we should get the exact same thing. Now, let's move on to number 3. Number 3, we have a triangle, and then we have a rectangle. So the triangle has a base of 8 and a height of 6, and then the rectangle that's slanted, I'm going to draw it straight, has a width of 3 and a length of 10. So now we have to find the area of each one. I'm going to start with the triangle, so 1/2 times the base times the height. 1/2 times 8 is 4. 4 times 6 would give me an area of 24 meters squared. Then I move on to the rectangle, which would be just 10 times 3, base times height. So the area is 30. Now I'm going to take 30 and 24 and add them to give me a grand total of 54 meters squared. All right, question number 4 is a little tricky because we have a big rectangle and then we have 2 smaller triangles, and the triangles aren't shaded. So here we're going to have to find the area of the entire rectangle, and then we're going to have to subtract the area of the 2 triangles. So, you can write it out like this. So the rectangle minus the triangle minus the triangle equals the total area. So the big rectangle, if this piece is 10 and this piece is 10, that tells me that the whole length of the rectangle is 20 with a height or a width of 12. So I would just do 20 times 12, and that would give me an area of 240. Now I have to do a little bit of math to find the triangles. Now luckily the triangles are the same size, so I don't have to do it more than once. So I'm going to do 1/2 times the base of 10 times the height of 12. So this would be 5 times 12, which would give me 60. So now let's subtract. So 240, 60, and 60. (14 minus 6 is 8. 8 minus 6 is 2. 1 minus nothing is 1. So the total area of the shaded region is 120 inches squared. Now, you could have also said, okay, 60 and 60 make up 120, and you could also have done 240 minus 120 and gotten the same answer. All right, last I have a triangle and a rectangle. The triangle has a height of 4 and a base of 8. And because the base of the triangle touches the top of the rectangle, that is also going to be a length of 8. And then the rectangle has a height of 15. So let's find the area of the triangle. 1/2 of 8 is 4. So 4 times 4 gives me an area of 16 inches squared. Now for the rectangle, I'm just going to do base times height, which is 8 times 15. I don't know that off the top of my head. So the area of the rectangle is 120 inches squared. So now I add these two up for a grand total of 136 inches squared.